I served in the Marine Corps for over 20 years. I joined in 1994 and thought it'd only be a couple years. And lo and behold, I got married and my wife said, we're staying in until we can retire. The I turned into we, and the we really means me. So I followed orders and we stayed in the Marine Corps until retirement. I served on embassy duty in Prague, Czech Republic, Tegucigalpa, Honduras, with the Secretary of State through her travels in Africa. I've been in Europe, Indonesia, in the jungles of Singapore, Thailand, 2 tours to Iraq, 2 tours to Afghanistan. When I was in the Marine Corps, I thought I'd retire as a sergeant major of the Marine Corps, and then realized that I drank too much coffee and needed more Motrin, so I became a chief warrant officer. And that's really where I landed, where people with bad knees, strong coffee arms, and a ton of Motrin like to hang out. So that's what I did. I was a counterintelligence human source operator. So first, and then I became a counterintelligence human source operations officer as a chief warrant officer. So my job really was to manage, at the beginning was to manage small teams of Marines in different areas throughout the world and throughout our nation as well. So we would go in and provide our services to the commander, and it would either be one of us or 6 of us, whatever that service is. It was to bring home our men and women back home to their families. That was our mission, to bring them home. And we did that by enlisting the aid of locals across the board, good and bad. But it was probably one of the best jobs I had. We were just talking and reflecting about some of the things that I had a chance to do, and I got a chance to bring in a whole battalion landing team of Marines, which is a lot of Marines on one beach. And I was in flip-flops, a beard, and shorts, and it was the best thing because all the Marines were like, who's this guy? And I was like, yeah, come on in. So it was a great time. On embassy duty, if I would take embassy duty as a private first class for 20 years, because that's how great it was. I would stand a post for 20 years as private first class, because you got a chance to travel the world and see different things. Through my time in the Marine Corps, as I started getting a little bit older and a little bit slower and paying attention a little bit more to what was going on, I realized that I wanted to become a chief warrant officer. In the Marine Corps, that's the subject matter expert. That's who the commander comes to when they have to find that fix. I like to call it the consigliere to the mob. And it was the best job I had, or position title that I had in the Marine Corps, because I got to use my experience to help out my team and make sure I kept my commander out of jail. My commanding officer always appreciated that. And I could speak frankly with them and let them know, I'm telling you this because I want you to stay out of jail and want us to win. And that was huge. I encourage everyone when I talk to young Marines to go through the warrant officer route, because that was an exciting thing. As I started to realize that, okay, I got a few years left, and I was in Iraq. I got injured a couple times, and I ended up going through a rehabilitation process, and I'm 100% disabled. Still got 10 fingers, 10 toes, but I walk around a little slower. But thank goodness that I have the medical services that I need. My wife was smart. She told me to stay in, and we stayed in. And now because of that, we get to live off of the pension, and then I get to any work that I do, it's extra. So that's a plus. When I was going through my rehabilitation process of trying to gain my strength back, a lot of guys in my field from my unit were committing suicide back to back. Like it was within 3 years, it was something like 5 of them. So since 2013, I've lost 10 Marines that I've worked with. Like right next to them, because we were deployed a lot, quite quite a bit. My son, who's 12, 9 of his years, I was gone. I'd come in for, especially in our job, I'd come in for a weekend and be gone again. And it was the toughest thing. And I'm so thankful that my wife was and is as strong as she is, because that's, as you guys know, that's the glue to the family, is a strong, supportive spouse. And in my job, it was 9 out of 10 of us were going in married and coming out divorced. And my wife, she knew it was a tough job, and she hung in there. And thankful for our faith and for our belief in each other and what our jobs really mean, with me deploying and her deploying at home, if you will. We hung in there, we stuck together, and we're on the good side of it now. So that's a great thing. So all these deaths started mounting up, and then I retired from the Marine Corps and became a pastor. Pastor here at a local church called Southwest. I don't know if you've heard of it. I became the outreach pastor there. So I got a chance to use my counterintelligence human source skills in the community by helping, right? Build networks, understand who's out there, and go help them. So it was a great transition. I used every skill that the government trained me to do to become a pastor and help people in the community. So it was completely transferable, which was, I couldn't believe it myself, how easy it was to transition into a job where I could just serve. And then I got recruited by another church called Saddleback to go launch their church in San Diego. And I'm thinking, all right, this is just another Marine Corps thing. Build up a network, do it again, and go out there. Every skill that I learned while in the Marine Corps, I have applied across the board. There's not a skill that I haven't learned that I haven't been able to apply. So God has used my skills, if you will, that He put me through for the last 20 plus odd years. And then my son, there's a picture of my family right there on the table, RJ, who's special needs. Thank God that we were in the military, because he's been through the hospital, through the ringer a number of times, and we haven't had to pay a dime. So I'm very thankful for that. And he's alive because our belief in God, that's primary. But number 2 is because the services that we were able to have, which are great. So all these deaths are happening. I'm a pastor, and all these things are going on, and I feel like I'm sitting on the sidelines. You ever felt like that? Like you're like, man, I wish I could do more. And from an outsider's perspective, I'm doing a lot, but 10 of my friends just died, and they just keep on dying. We're picking them up. Another one up here in 2 days, coming in from somewhere else. And this is just we've learned how to retrieve someone who's about to commit suicide. We work together as a network, believe it or not. A guy called one of us, he was in Korea. He was in a hotel about to commit suicide, and he called one of us, and because of what we do in our network, literally we found him in a hotel in Korea and got him help. And he's alive because of the fraternity, the network, the brotherhood, the family that we have out there. So we're doing that. Those are some of the things that we get a chance to do now, is save each other's lives. We saved each other's lives in combat. Now it's time to save each other's lives here, back home, because we don't want to see any more go down the end. And my wife, she's found her way through that as well. She reaches out to women who are posting on different blogs about their husband is going through this, and she talks about her experiences with me and my PTSD and some of the stuff that I had going on, and she walks them through that. So we're both now able to go out and serve the community that we got a chance to be blessed to serve in. So that's a tremendous blessing for us. But there's still more. There was still more inside of us, and this year, I decided to throw my hat inside the ring because I feel there's so much more that we can do here in California. So I'm running for the 56th Assembly District. And that district includes Desert Hot Springs, Cathedral City, Thousand Palms, Bermuda Dunes, Indio, Coachella Thermal Mecca Oasis, and everything all the way to Blythe, and then from Blythe to Mexico, or Calexico is the last town down there. It's huge, all of Imperial County and most of East Riverside County. It's a huge district, but there's a lot of people in need, right? We look at this side of the freeway, and there's a lot of need. When we look at that side of the freeway, a little bit less need. And the 56th district is on this side of the freeway. So, I'm a fighter. I've come to realize I'm a fighter. I don't like seeing people struggle. The pastor in me wants to go out and fight. So I said I'm going to run for the 56th Assembly District because I've already earned my title, and that's Marine. Everything else is just extra, right? So why not use the skills that I earned and make a difference and make some things happen. So I'm running for the 56th. I want to see a change. I want to see, when I hear people say that they're helping veterans, I really want them to be helping veterans and not actually just making it a photo op, right? We don't need another flagpole. What we need is more resources and services for our community that's out here. I am personally done with the picture-taking moments. It's time to put our money where our mouth is and start helping. Veteran homelessness, it's crazy, especially here in such a small valley. So with that, this past week, we're starting to talk to a few people. We're going to do something called Remember Everyone Deployed Rally. We're looking at doing it on November 2nd. It's a Friday night, a Remember Everyone Deployed Rally in the Valley. So a red rally in the Valley. And what that means is we will be honoring those who are currently serving versus Memorial Day and Veterans Day. We want to honor those who are serving. And the money that we raise that day will go to the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission to help combat veteran homelessness. No dime taken. So that's what we're looking at doing November 2nd out here, November 3rd in Imperial County, and hopefully it catches on because there's so much more that can be done. And my boots still work, my hands still work, and we can still do something in our community. I think that's why a lot of you are part of an organization like this. One, for the fraternity of it, but two is how can we help? And that's one of the ways that we can do that. We use our resources to go out into the community, not to shine, for ourselves, but to help bring others up and shine them. So that's really my goal. That's what I want to do. That's my platform, and it's to serve like I've been serving my whole life. I can answer questions on gas tax and how we should repeal it. I can answer questions on Second Amendment. I'm a Marine, so you could pretty much know where my Second Amendment stance is when it comes to that. If you don't, I'm for it. So, yes.